Today's project is a dish garden. This is a selection of dish gardens I will show you, and you can create your own by following and watching this video. And once I'm done showing you what the finished product looks like, I will then show you what the supplies you will need, and I will pause the video, and then so you have time either to gather your supplies or to take some notes. And then I will put the video back on and show you how to make your very own dish garden. So here are some examples. What I've done is I went to Walmart and I purchased some jade plants and some cactus type sedums, and they were very small. They didn't cost very much. You might also be able to go into your yard to find some plants that you might want to put in a container. I'm going to give you some close-ups. You can see that it only has 2 small plants, and then I put some little decorative items. Here's a large one with a jade plant, some special rocks. Here's one with a red type of sedum, and in a container that kind of matches the plant. Here's one in just an ordinary clay pot with a little jade plant in it, but I think it's cute. Here's one with a chili planter, and it's got a little sedum in there with a couple of rocks. Here's another one in a little dish that you could use for pudding. Here is one. You can see that I've used stones to cover the soil and put a type of sedum plant, and used an antique planter that I found at a yard sale. Here's another example of a different kind of clay pot. It's got a little elephant, and it's got 2 fancy rocks and another type of sedum. So again, these are the types of things that you can create to make your very own dish garden. I'm going to pause it, and then we're going to go look at the supplies you will need. Okay, here are the supplies you will need. There's really not that many. You will need some potting soil. Any kind of potting soil will do. These are planters that I picked up at yard sales and flea markets. This is a cereal bowl. You can use a cereal bowl. You can use a coffee cup as a planter. You can use a regular planter. And here is an antique one, an old-fashioned one I got at a yard sale. All of these are great. You will notice they don't have any holes in the bottom. That is why the next thing you will need to create your dish garden is some gravel or stones. You can use fancy stones. These are fancy little stones that you can buy at the dollar store, and they go in the bottom of a fish tank. Also, these are little stones that you can also put in the bottom of a fish tank. Now, if you don't have any of those, that's okay. These are little pieces of gravel I went out and found on the side of the road. So those are okay too. So we have soil, we have our planter, our pot, we have some stones to put in the bottom. You will also need something to cover the soil with to make it look pretty. This again is little tiny rocks that I got in a bag for a fish tank. This is just sand, a little bit of crushed stone. You can also use that. Now, the fun part about making a dish garden is you get to decorate it any way you like. You can use anything you like. This is a little ceramic goose that came out of a tea box. These are just little stones, again, that you can put in the bottom of a fish tank. Here's a fancy stone. Here's a Lego guy. Here's an amethyst crystal. Here is a crystal. Here's a rock. We even have a little car. If you make one for your mom, you know what your mom likes for decoration. If you make a dish garden for your dad, if he's a golfer, maybe you could put a golf ball in there. Or if you know he likes sports cars, put a little sports car in there. Okay, so far we have soil, pot, gravel, something to cover the soil, our decoration, and again, you can't make a dish garden without plants. These again are sedums. You can buy them at a nursery, or you can buy them at Walmart, or maybe you have something like that at home already. You can get little ones, very inexpensive. These were a little bit more expensive, but they're beautiful. And lastly, you will need some water. So, here are your supplies. I'm going to pause the video, and then when I come back, we'll be ready to put one together. Okay, students, we're back. So now I'm going to create a dish garden, and you can watch. And again, this would be a good project just for yourself or for your mom for Mom's Day, Dad for Dad's Day, maybe one for your grandparents, or one for a friend. But it's a fun project. And the thing I can tell you about the plants once you're done getting them into the planter and the pot is that these are sedums. So you only want to water them when they're dry. And to determine that, once your plants are in their pot, you would put your finger. If the soil feels wet, then you don't water it. If the soil feels dry to the touch, then you water it, but only a little bit. Okay, here we go. The first thing you need to do is choose your planter. And this is the one I've chosen. It doesn't have a hole in the bottom. So that means we need to put some rocks in the bottom so when it gets watered, the roots won't sit in the water. So for that, I'm just going to choose just some gravel that I picked up. So you want to make it so that the bottom is covered in gravel. Then you want to get your potting soil, put a little bit in the bottom to cover up the rocks. Okay, for this planter, I am choosing this really cool looking sedum. So what you do is you gently take it out of the pot. It's okay to take a little bit of the soil off. Just be careful not to hurt the roots. Okay, you put your plant in your planter. You can put it in the center, or if you're going to put more than one plant, you would want to make room so the plants all have enough room. Then you take some soil and you backfill. There you go. You want to press it gently down. There. So there's one plant. It's got the rocks in the bottom. It's got soil. It's been tamped down. So now what we do is we decide how we want to decorate. I'm going to use some of these little stones that you can get for a fish tank. And what I do is I cover up the dirt. It makes it look more attractive. And it gives it a little more color and design. You can also use the sand. And if you really want to get fancy, you can also use these. You can use these to decorate as well. Now, let's see. I am going to choose my Lego guy. He's going to sit right in front of the plant. Come on, Lego guy. And this is a very pretty stone I happen to like. There. So that is the design of my dish garden. Last but not least, you got to water your plant in. Not too much. Just a little bit so that the dirt settles around the roots. And there is your dish garden. You can use your imagination and your creativity and create anything you like. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to make another dish garden in a coffee cup to show you how easy that is. Okay, now I'm going to make a dish garden in an ordinary coffee cup. This doesn't have a hole in the bottom, which means we need the rocks at the bottom so the roots won't stay too wet. The water will go to the bottom. So I put my rocks in, a little bit of soil just to give the plant a base. Now, I think I'm going to choose this one because I like it. I like the way it looks. So we take the plant gently out. It's okay. Oh, this one's great. It's got a little plug. So we take the plug, we put some more soil in, a little soil in. We take it, and we want to make sure the plant is equal with the top. So I'm going to backfill it with some more soil while I hold the plant. I'm pushing the plant off to the side a little bit to give it room. There we go. Gently tap it down a little bit. Okay. Of course, you can clean it up a little bit when you're all done. So far, we have one plant. And for this one, again, I'm showing you a dish garden with one plant each, but you can put as many plants as you wish. For this one, I'm choosing the sand as a way to cover up the soil to make it look pretty. You could even use some sand out in your yard. That would be perfectly okay to do. Okay, there's our little plant in its little coffee cup. And I am going to use some fancy stones on this as well. Maybe I'll put this little blue one here. Maybe I'll put a crystal right there. And that is another dish garden. So students, have fun, use your imagination, use your creativity, and have fun making your dish gardens.